Welcome back to the New Manchester YouTube channel. This is James, and I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. If any of you guys care about that. It's Christmas. It's the holiday season. It's December. It's the final month of 2023. And this video / voice recording is the final video on this channel of 2023. So I'm going to go out with a bang on this video / voice recording. Yeah, it's Christmas. Everybody put up the Christmas decorations around their house, lights around their houses. The Christmas tree is up in their house with Christmas gifts under the tree. I got a Christmas tree up in my house. Got a few gifts underneath it for people in my family. So yeah, I understand that, there's some people out there who don't care about Christmas, don't care about getting gifts, and I respect that. I'm not too crazy about Christmas. Yeah, it's this month where people should be good to one another, and and the audience on this YouTube channel, I don't know how they view this. They probably don't care. I'm talking about you guys. I know you guys. Some of you guys care. Some of you guys don't care. All you care about is, I guess, conspiracy theorist stuff, Winston Wu logic stuff, and how toxic and how messed up and broken the United States is. And, I don't want to make videos by talking about the U.S. And, I came back from overseas back in October, and I don't want to just make videos about the U.S. all the time. I want to talk about other things. And I'm not going to talk about politics either. And I'm not going to do conspiracy theorist stuff because that's not my style. If you're a conspiracy theorist and you're looking for conspiracy theorist stuff on this channel and you're commenting on the videos on this channel about conspiracy theories, then you come to the wrong place. And I don't care for you or your conspiracy theories thoughts, so that's how I feel. So anyway, let me get into this video. Okay. Got some notes from Winston Wu's video, one of his videos on his YouTube channel, Happier Abroad. Okay, I got some notes and I put the title on for these notes, and the title is, and the topic is on this video is why you should leave America for a better life and love overseas. And it reads as follows. Nobody in the conspiracy movement or the alternative media, no matter how much they discuss all the problems in America and how bad things are getting and how crazy things are, they never ever suggest that anyone should leave the country and go somewhere else better, where things are better. Never. They never entertain the idea. They act like as if that option does not even exist. Which is really weird, because if a ship is sinking or a big ship is going down, wouldn't your first thought to be just simply get off the ship? Yes, of course. So why is it that when America goes downhill and all of its toxic problems, and nobody seems to suggest just getting off the ship? That is weird. Very very indespical, very indespicable. There is this assumption, no matter how bad things get in America, leaving is not an option. You have to stay and try to fight the system. Change the system. Yelling at a person by talking down to them if they disrespect the people in your U.S. state or country. Talk about freedom. Talk about all the amendments in the U.S. Constitution, or saying you're proud to be an American, which is ridiculous and futile. Very, very pathetic. You can't change society. You can't change other people. And definitely you can't change the powerful forces that run society or the government or the media. The best thing to do is to find a culture that resonates with you and has what you want, that's more healthy and sane and better for you. That's a lot easier than to try to change society, which is futile. But yet, all the conspiracy people and those in the alternative media, independent media, or mainstream media never mention this. For example, Alex Jones, David Icke, conspiracy theorists from other countries, or even George Norway from Coast to Coast AM. All of these people will never tell you to leave the country and move to a better country that's good for your mental health. Get out of America for a better life. Let me read this again. All of these people will never tell you to leave the country and move to a better country that's good for your mental health. Get out of America for a better life. All they do is talk about the New World Order, conspiracy theorist trash, and how bad things are in America. That is so bizarre. Even the mainstream American population assumes that no matter how many problems they have, no matter how shitty life is, leaving the country is never an option. It's not even worth considering. I guess there's this assumption that the United States of America is the best, and everywhere else can be worse or the same, and there's no point in leaving. Well, that's a wrong assumption. Anyone that spent a lot of time overseas will tell you that in most other countries, there are a lot of things that are better in many ways. And so the option for a better life does exist for many reasons. So the solution of going abroad is an excellent, valid option. Everywhere in America, mainstream American population, or even people who live on farms or ranches, assume you can't leave America. That's not even an option. I guess maybe they're very patriotic and they love America and the country and the concept of it, so they don't want to leave. Talking about the New World Order, the government, or the globalists, or the Illuminati, or whatever, it's all worthless, ridiculous, whack job talk. It's crazy. The United States has a lot of problems other than the New World Order. The culture has degraded so much since the 1950s and has gotten worse and worse every year. America doesn't just have problems with the government, the elites, and the globalists. It's the culture, the social life, the dating scene, and the mental health. All of it has just degraded totally. What most Americans don't know is that most countries, are not like that. I'd like to give some examples and reasons that will explain why there are a lot of benefits to living overseas that most Americans don't know about. These things aren't talked about in the alternative media, independent media, traditional old media, so-called new media, counterculture movement, people on YouTube, or the conspiracy movement. Okay? Social benefits. Social benefits. In most other countries, there's a sense of social connection. People are not isolated and segregated. There's not this paranoid wall people have towards each other. So it's a lot easier to meet people and make friends. Even if you go into a restaurant by yourself in Europe, Mother Russia, or South America, people will talk to you. People are very social towards strangers. There's not this competitive mentality where everyone is an enemy. And people are just not as paranoid and uptight about talking to strangers, especially young people. In other countries, young people are more down to earth and easy to connect with. You see, in America, to find people that are down to earth, you usually have to talk to the older people, like senior citizens. They come from a generation that was more down to earth, but the young crowd is totally not. Especially young women in America. They are the least down to earth females in the world. Young women are self-absorbed, narcissistic, paranoid, have nasty attitudes, picky, spoiled, mean-spirited, childish, and in their own little world. It's virtually impossible to connect with them. They don't even want to connect with people. In U.S. states like Texas, it is normal for women or girls to have masculine traits by the people, not all. In America, it's very socially isolating. There's no human connection. If you go out by yourself, you don't really meet people. You just can't go out and meet people in America. It doesn't work that way. Everyone has their own clique, and you have to find your own clique and bond with that clique. That's how things work in America. It's not easy. It's not very easy to just go out and meet people. The social scene is very exclusive, and people don't talk to strangers unless it's business related. The social scene in most other countries is a lot more natural. It's more relaxed. It's easy to start a conversation with people because they're just more down to earth. There's a feeling of connection in other countries that you don't get in America. Other countries are not as lonely and isolating. Of course, this varies from different countries. Some countries are more cliquish and others are less. In the other two countries of the world, in those other two countries of the world, probably most of them are not as cliquish and isolating as America. I'm not just talking about a city or a small town, because in America, you can be in this big city surrounded by millions of people. People look cold and angry, and no one wants to talk to you or connect with you. That's just how it is. Everyone's in a bubble, and no one likes to talk to strangers, and communication is only for business. That's how the US is. Everything is all business. There's no soul, there's no culture. Okay, that's how the US is. Everything is all business. There's no soul, there's no culture, there's no human connection. Everything is just a business. You're supposed to work and consume. You thrive, you drive your fulfillment from that, which is stupid. It is stupid. A person needs a lot more than just work and have no other reason to live, and then try to fill their void with consumerism. What about love, romance, sex, passion, and adventure, and just living? The culture in America just sucks your soul and tries to turn you into a machine. If you're a deep person, you know you won't accept that. You might develop mental problems if you resist. Romantic benefits. Women in most other countries are a lot more sweet and feminine and down to earth and easier to connect with. They're they're a they're a lot more approachable too. It's so much more easy to meet them and date them than it is in America. In America, it's virtually impossible to find a beautiful girl or woman that's also down to earth at the same time. You might have been able to find that in the 1960s and 1970s when women were more innocent and wholesome, which you can see in the TV shows from back then. Modern America, no way. In other countries like Russia or Ukraine, for example, beautiful women who are down to earth are everywhere. Every guy that's gone there and dated women has been mesmerized, and they've called Russia and Ukraine a dating paradise. Let me read this again so you guys can catch this. In other countries like Russia or Ukraine, for example, beautiful women who are down to earth are everywhere. Every guy that's gone there and dated women has been mesmerized, and they've called Russia and Ukraine a dating paradise. The average girl there is attractive, thin, educated, smart, and down to earth. You're not going to find a gorgeous, attractive girl in America who's like that. In Russia, it's everywhere. It's the norm. Okay, so social benefits, romantic benefits, food, lifestyle is better overseas than here in the United States. And going back to social or human connection, not all countries are sociable and believe in human connection and connecting with others and making friends and like talking to people. Yeah, some countries are cliquish and antisocial and cold. Others aren't. So that varies from country to country. When it comes to socialness, social and human connection, connecting with people, I want to stay away from countries like Canada, the Scandinavian countries, Northeast Asia, the UK, and other countries that are like them. So I'm just going to go to countries like, Mexico and other countries in Latin America, you know, African countries, Ukraine and Russia. If they get out of this war, they're still at war. I don't know. Yeah, the Philippines and China, Southeast Asian countries. I don't know about Australia, New Zealand. I don't know about them. They're Anglo-Saxon nations. They're probably anti-social countries too. So, well, I don't know. But the people in those countries. I take that back. I've never been to those countries, but I heard that in Australia and New Zealand, people are real and they're not fake and plastic like people in the U.S. are. They're real and they tell the truth. And they don't bullshit. I mean, I saw that on a news station with a news reporter named Tova O'Brien in New Zealand and some news outlets in Australia. So, that's just my opinion. So, yeah. The women in America are the least down to earth females in the world. They are self absorbed, narcissistic, paranoid, have nasty attitudes, picky, spoiled, mean spirited, childish, manly, and in their own little world. And it is virtually impossible to connect with them. They don't even want to connect with other people. Yeah, that's true. Young girls and young women here in America are very they're very antisocial. They're very well. I've been around some. Well, yeah, they're kind of paranoid. They have nasty attitudes. They're picky, spoiled, mean spirited, and childish. It's like this. Like, I can go to a Target on a Saturday and it's jam packed with shoppers, customers. Target, they call their customers guests. I can walk in Target and I can see a gorgeous looking woman, or a girl. You know, I can go up to them. If I can go up to them, I'm very nice, I'm very respectful, and I want to talk to them, want to get to know them. You know, they'll probably like freak out. They probably make fun of me, or they're probably be in disgust and think I'm a creep, a weirdo, a pedophile, and a pervert, and they think I'm gonna do them harm, and they'll probably ignore me, or worse, if I tell them I just want to talk to you, I just want to get to know you, I'm interested in you, I kind of like you. If you say stuff like that, they'll probably go and call the police or find the nearest policeman and tell that cop that I'm giving her trouble, and the cop will go and arrest me and take me to jail for some whacked out charges, and I'm not gonna be like that guy at that Walmart in Florida where he goes and touches himself in front of a bunch of women and masturbate in front of them. I'm not gonna do that, but some men in America probably do that. I guess in Florida, some do it because they're socially isolated. They're probably one of those lonely men, those lonely young men in their 20s and 30s, and they probably do some whacked out, gross and disgusting stuff like that. They do it because they're probably shy. They don't know how to talk to women. They don't know how to act around women because they probably come from a really bad family. You know deep down inside, they're probably good people. They're probably decent people, but the toxicness in America, just affects their mental health and make them do stuff like touch themselves in front of women at a Walmart or masturbate in front of them. You know, some of the guys who do this are lonely and isolated and sexless and dateless. Some guys are just sick and they just do it for kicks. And I'm not gonna do stuff like that. I'm not gonna touch myself in front of a bunch of women at a Walmart or Target or TJ Maxx or any clothing store where women are around. I'm not gonna go and touch myself in front of them or masturbate in front of them. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not, because it's just gross and kind of messed up. I guess I guess American society that's very toxic and kind of screwed up and messed up and fucked up on all different levels will just drive a lonely single man in his 20s and 30s to do some nasty shit like that. But I'm not going to do stuff like that. And any one of you who are in your 20s and 30s, I mean, you shouldn't be doing this stuff either. If you're lonely, if you want love, sex, companionship, love, romance, you just simply just move to a country that will give you all of that. You can go to a country that has more natural social connection, where people are more genuine, real, and down to earth, and they are easier to connect with, and they are far easier to connect with others, and you can make real friends with them. And the social atmosphere is more inclusive, and social life flows more smoothly and naturally. Yeah, and they believe in happiness is shared with others and not kept to oneself. And friendships are more true and meaningful. Also, in that same normal country, most women are sweet, feminine, down to earth, gentle, friendly, and approachable, like real women were meant to be. And it is far easier to connect with them and get dates or find girlfriends or wives. Yeah, foreign women have a more pro male attitude compared to the anti attitude in the West. And they see flirtation as a good thing, and they believe it creates excitement and energy. Yeah, and the women find it very, very flattering. And foreign women cherish their God given femininity, which is a good thing. And also, you have social freedoms, and you have the freedom to be yourself. And those countries have a lower cost of living, so you can live on less, giving you more purchasing power. Let me read this again. In those countries, or countries like it, they have a lower cost of living, so you can live on less, giving you more purchasing power. There are many ways to live cheaply overseas, depending on your standards and lifestyles. And all other developed countries have universal health care, even in nations with low income taxes. That's good. More freedom abroad. If you're a if you're truther trying to escape the New World Order. This is an important secret that you should know, because the truther slash patriot movement never tells you this and won't even touch the subject of leaving America because it's deemed unpatriotic. Freedom, 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 full freedom. The reason you never feel free in America, even though it claims to be free, is because your consciousness is highly controlled in America. Unofficially, of course. In America, everything is all about control, conformity, and punishment. In most other countries, your consciousness is not as controlled, so you feel more free abroad. And people are more down to earth and aren't afraid to talk to strangers or meet other people. So you feel socially freer as well, not just politically. Foreign cultures are more authentic, not fake. So you have more freedom to be yourself, which is the most important criterion of freedom. After all, if you can't be yourself, then you aren't free, regardless of what kind of government you live under. Contrary to what it claims, America is actually one of the least free countries in the world in many ways. Here are some examples why. You don't have the freedom to meet people. You don't have the freedom to meet people, talk to strangers, flirt with girls, or make friends in America the way you can in many foreign countries. Ever since 1985 through 90, Americans have become more and more closed off and mean-spirited, and flirtation has been a taboo in America since 1990. So while China, Russia, and other countries may lack political freedoms that the US has, they have social freedoms that the US don't have. The US has a controlling government that is becoming increasingly tyrannical, as we all know. But it also has the highest number of laws and regulations in the world. More law equals less freedom, of course. So how can America claim to be the land of the free? It defies logic. In contrast, Mexico has one of the fewest laws in the world. Any Mexican can tell you that Mexico is far freer than uptight America. America's prison population is now at 2 million, which is more than any other country. So how can the freest country have the biggest prison population? Cost of living and prices in America are overly inflated and crazily high since the 1970s. So you have to work more to make ends meet, thus reducing your freedom and purchasing power. In contrast, many other countries offer a lower cost of living, thus making you more free from financial burdens. America's culture is fake, phony, and plastic, and doesn't allow you to be yourself, which is the biggest and heart of freedom. Obviously, to fit into a fake, phony culture, one has to be fake and phony, least one be alienated and out of place. As they say, in a mad society, only the mad are sane. If you had to be fake rather than your true self, then you aren't free. America requires that you pretend to be positive, happy, optimistic, and doing great 24/7, even if you're not. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about that. You go to a store and the cashier will say, "Hi, how are you doing?" And you're promoted to say, "I'm doing fine." But if you tell them you're not doing great, they probably won't care, or they'll just make fun of you and laugh at you. Which is kind of fucked up and weird. Like, why you have to say that? Like, that's meaningless. Like, why do you care how I'm doing? And I don't even know you. And I stood in line. I was queuing up at a store, and some woman standing in front of me. She turns around and said this to me: "Hi, how are you doing?" and I say I'm doing fine. It's just crazy. And I noticed when I did something like that overseas, like people just ignored me. And I want to get away from that because it's just pointless. But if you don't say I'm doing fine, that's considered rude in America. But it's pointless and it's stupid and it doesn't make any sense. Why you? I mean, and you can't be doing great 24/7. Like life has its ups and downs. So if you in your 20s, 30s, or even in your 40s, you know, or older, here's an idea. Denounce your citizenship as a U.S. citizen and move to a country that where you can be yourself. You can get love, romance, sex, companionship, friendships, and you can make friends with people. Yeah, yeah, and the young people are more sociable and friendly and more down to earth than their American counterparts, and even in Canada. If you live in Canada or the U.S., just leave your country and move overseas for a better life. And oh yeah, and before I end this video, check out Winston Wu's Happy Abroad YouTube channel or read his forum, which is on happyabroad.com. Okay, that's the end of this little presentation. This little presentation. This is the end of this little presentation from me, James, on the New Manchester YouTube channel. So, this is James signing out. Goodbye, and see you in the new year. Take care.